When building a KAIROS system, obviously inputs and outputs are of paramount concern. How do we get signals into and out of the system? Well, with KAIROS we break it down into several categories. 1. Streaming. 2. SDI. 3. ST2110. When it comes to streaming inputs and outputs, no additional software or hardware is needed. All 4 KAIROS cores can take in a variety of streaming sources and likewise output the same kinds of formats. If we then want to expand our KAIROS system to include SDI inputs and outputs, we involve the DeltaCast modules. These inexpensive products allow us to bring in and send out everything from 12G SDI all the way down to 720p and 1080i. The DeltaCast family also includes HDMI inputs and outputs as well as DisplayPort inputs and outputs. While KAIROS works really well with SDI and in streaming sources, it really comes alive with ST2110. With ST2110, you're no longer constrained to an input that is either 720p all the way up to 12G. Every input occupies only the right amount of bandwidth. And you connect to those sources via a QSFP cable, roughly a 100 gigabit cable that connects KAIROS to a switch, for example, and allows you to address signals all based on their own particular bandwidth. And that can be based on their frame rate and also on their resolution. So no longer are you constrained by the number of connectors on the backplane of your switcher. Now you have the ability to expand your input and output connectivity based on the size of your switch. So if you want to build out a system based on ST2110, how do you get signals into and out of the system? Well, for the most part, you're probably going to have a switch, or a switch that's capable of ST2110. And connected to that switch could be everything from SFPs that allow you to bring in SDI or HDMI or different signals, or maybe native ST2110 sources. For example, from a PTZ camera that has built-in ST2110 capability. You might also want to expand the connectivity through fiber all the way out to miles of distance, where you might again connect using SDI, HDMI, or native ST2110 products. That connectivity in the ST2110 world is through gateways. Gateways allow us to convert one type of signal, for example SDI, into ST2110. We can convert from a source into KAIROS or from KAIROS out to an SDI destination. If a particular camera or source happens to be ST2110 already, then there's no conversion necessary or no gateway necessary. The world of ST2110 gateways changes all the time with new products from a variety of manufacturers. It's always best to check to make sure they're compatible with KAIROS when you're building a system. Whether you're configuring streaming, SDI, or ST2110, there's an input and an output settings page in KAIROS to easily configure all the options. When it comes to I/O, KAIROS is the only system available to connect everything from streaming through SDI all the way up to ST2110.